Welcome. This is Father Mark Toops, pastor of Christ the Redeemer here in Thibodaux, and this is a video series communicating changes within our youth formation. And this particular video is part of a series of frequently asked questions. And in this presentation, we want to answer the question, what's going on Sunday nights with the changes to our youth formation? What do Sunday nights look like? And we're going to ask that question about Sunday nights in a couple different ways. Number one, why are we introducing a new 5 o'clock Sunday Mass? Number two, do all of our junior high and high school students have to attend the Sunday night Mass? Number three, what about our high school students? What does a typical month look like for them? And specifically, what is a life night? And then finally, what's going on Sundays for our junior high students? So let's jump into the first question about Mass, the Sunday night Mass. Again, we're starting, as we've announced at Mass, a new 5 o'clock Sunday afternoon Mass starting September the 9th. That's the Sunday after Labor Day. The reasoning with the start of the 5 o'clock Mass is, number one, we really believe that home is a word that really captures Christ the Redeemer. So many people that we've talked to have said that the word home kind of captures how they feel when they got here, or why is it that they stay at Christ the Redeemer. And if we're going to have a home, we want a home for our youth. We want all of our visitors, all of our parishioners, everybody in our family to feel at home. And certainly Mass is a significant part for that. And so what we're hoping is that the 5 o'clock Mass has preaching and hospitality specifically tailored to the needs of our teenagers. Let's face it, the 7 o'clock Mass on Sunday morning and the Vigil Mass on Saturday afternoon, they all have their own feel, right? Because of the people that attend those Masses and the needs that they have. We do try to kind of tweak the preaching to those needs. Certainly 9 and 11 feel a very certain way. But we want our 5 o'clock Mass to be specifically a place where the preaching and the welcome really embrace our high school teenagers and our junior high students. You might say that the aim of any youth formation is not really ultimately aimed at their youth. It's aimed at the transition to be fully mature and alive adults. You might say that youth formation is pointing toward and culminating in not confirmation, but in graduation. I say that very specifically. Confirmation is a sacrament that has a very specific theological focus. It's right. It's where we bestow the fullness of the Holy Spirit upon our high school teenagers. But the sacrament of confirmation can be bestowed upon anybody. In fact, originally, believe it or not, the sacrament of confirmation was actually connected to baptism. That means that infants can receive confirmation. Confirmation, in its historical as well as theological definition, is not meant to be a graduation from formation. The only graduation that we in the church have our eyes on is our graduation from high school into the next chapter of our life. And all of our youth formation is designed to get them ready for that transition, not for the sacrament of confirmation. And if we're going to do that, then we want to anchor our youth formation in the Eucharist. And that's because whenever a young person transitions after high school, the relationships that they form in high school may or may not continue. They may or may not remember everything that they learned, but the one consistent thing that will always be there for them for the rest of their life will be Mass and the Blessed Sacrament. So we want to anchor our high school teenagers in their understanding, appreciation, and practice of receiving the Eucharist. 5 o'clock Mass on Sunday. It's going to be a great Mass. Really looking forward to celebrating that with you. Can't invite you enough to come check it out as we introduce a new wrinkle here at Christ the Redeemer. The next question is about the Sunday night Mass, and it pertains to who's going to be there. Do all of our junior high and high school students have to attend the Sunday night Mass? And of course, the answer to that question is no. However, I want to place the conversation about attending the Sunday night Mass in a very beautiful invitation. First of all, there is no more important obligation for Sunday Mass than the commandments. It's not that we're encouraging our young people to go to Mass because we have a new youth Mass. The invitation to go to Mass is from the Old Testament, as God says that we are to worship Him and Him alone, and that He created the Sabbath so that we could worship Him. And certainly as Catholics, we worship Him most sacramentally and relationally and receptively when we are doing that together with the Eucharist at Mass. And so the obligation, you might say, that the have to of attending Sunday Mass is not because of Christ Redeemer's Mass schedule. It's because of the commandments. And I just want to put that into context as an invitation, right? not to be heavy, but it's not that we're requiring anything other than what God's already asking for all of us if we're going to be in a relationship with Him. We just want to make it easy. We want to make it in such a way that it's relevant to our young people, that the preaching is relevant to where they are. The hospitality is designed to help them. And I would say that the experience of a young person at Mass is far more important than anything else. It's not that we're requiring people to go to the Sunday night Mass. We're just trying to emphasize the importance of having Mass as a part of their life. I can't think of anything that's more constitutive to being Catholic than going to Mass. And I just want to place out there that if any of our parents or teenagers have a question about going to Mass, man, I would love to reach out to you, would love to hear you, would love to speak to you. Call me directly at Christ the Redeemer, and I would love to just have a conversation with you to help you appreciate that. It's, to me, if a teenager has to choose between going to Mass or attending our youth formation, by all means, it's about going to Mass and receiving the Eucharist. So no, they don't have to do that. If you as a family are already celebrating Mass at a different time at Christ Redeemer, then by all means celebrate as a family. However, we cannot encourage you enough to give it a shot. We can't encourage you enough to know that it is going to be the springboard for everything that we do with our high school and junior high students from now on. So while Mass is not mandatory, we just want to let you know that by not going to that Mass, that the teenagers themselves would probably be missing out on an important way to enter into the relationships with those who are going to be working with them, relationships with the other teens that they're going to be walking with, and their relationship with Jesus Christ. So I can't encourage you enough to make that Mass an opportunity and a rhythm in your life and in your family's life. Our high school students, what does a typical month look like? Again, as we have said in other venues, every Sunday night, the 5 o'clock Mass is going to be there, even when we're not celebrating, you might say, our youth formation nights. The first Sunday of the month, after Mass, we're going to have our Life Night. I'm going to tell you what a Life Night is later on. After Mass, the second and fourth Sundays of the month, our teens will be in small groups. That's, again, the high school teenagers. This is the 9th through 12th grade rhythm. Second and fourth Sundays of the month, they'll be in small groups. Now, if this is the first time you're hearing this, of course, you'll know that there's a change now, because we're no longer meeting on Mondays anymore. We're now meeting on Sundays. Sunday is the new day for us at Christ Redeemer for youth formation. Again, the first Sunday of the month, the Life Night after Mass, the second and fourth Sundays, small groups. And then the third Sunday of the month, the teens are off, and our team, our adult team, will get some ongoing formation. You can reference the rest of this as you look at the calendar that is available on our website. What's a Life Night? A Life Night, of course, is open to all students. It doesn't have to be people who are in our small groups already or who are in the ordinary rhythm. You might say it's an open night for any 9th through 12th grader. It starts with 5 o'clock Mass, of course. That's going to probably wrap up around 6:15. And then the Life Night is broken into, you might say, 4 parts. It's almost like Mass, right? The first part is a gather. We're going to gather them together, a little icebreaker, some intro. This is going to be on campus at Christ the Redeemer. And then after that, about 20 minutes later, we're going to teach them. We're going to proclaim a teaching from the Scripture, from the Catechism. Usually the topics on the Life Nights are dealing with the real-life issues that the teenagers are facing. We're going to give them a chance to break that open into small group discussion, and then we're going to send them off. So we're going to wrap it up with some prayer and a closing. While our small groups won't start until January, we are going to have our first Life Night on Sunday, October the 7th. You can find the rest of the information that we've talked about all on our website, but looking at other information, I just want to let you know that our first Mass, our Sunday night Mass, starts on September the 9th. Our first Life Night, of course, as we just said, is October the 7th. Small groups begin in January 13th, and we're going to use our current curriculum in January through May of 2019. This year is going to just introduce the new setting of small groups, and then next year, in the fall of 2019, we'll introduce a new curriculum that is more tailored to helping our young people in a very beautiful way. Consult the calendar for all the specific dates. If you have any questions, you can definitely reach out to Rebecca. All right, now we've been talking about our high school students. Let's talk about our junior high, 6th through 8th grade students. What's going on Sundays for them? Well, again, we're going to go back to that Mass. It all kind of points to the Mass. But before Mass, on the second Sundays of the month, from 3 to 4:45, our junior high students are going to gather at Christ the Redeemer. Again, you'll notice a change that we're no longer meeting on Monday nights. Our junior high students are now going to join us on Sunday nights, the second Sunday of the month, just one Sunday a month throughout the year from 3 to 4:45. Now, it's going to be a large group setting. It's going to feel like a little mini retreat. In fact, those retreats are so important that we're going to also have 3 Super Sundays, you might say, 3 one-day retreats, and you can consult the calendar there for all of the specific details. It's been great being with you. I hope that all of this answers your questions. Be reminded, if you need anything from us at Christ the Redeemer, we're looking forward to serving you. If you have any questions, contact us directly. Call Rebecca. Her extension is 212 at the office. And until we see you, God bless you.